I actually have two bills in higher education. One is a running start bill, and that's an issue I've been working on a couple years. We've been concerned because there's not many students of color or low-income students participating in this program. And so the bill is going to help our local partners see what the barriers are and come up with a plan of how to address that, and then we'll oversee that at the state. The other one is around the IB program. You know, a lot of kids work so hard to get those full-time IB courses, but not all our colleges are recognizing them. So we want to look at that to make sure that the kids that are completing those courses, one, get credit, and two, stay in our state to go to college. And I've been working, of course, on the IB issue for a couple years. It started 2 years ago when we realized there were barriers and we wanted to make the program more affordable for families. And we have seen the impact. And I think the next step is to make sure once they've done the testing and finished the course that they get credit for it later. I've been working on helping victims of the sex trade. This is a big issue in my district, especially in the SeaTac Des Moines area. And one of the things we found is these young victims often are arrested and they have records that are held against them. And so they get out of this industry, they rebuild their lives, but they have trouble getting jobs later because of those prior convictions. So the bill I'm working on would allow them to go back in front of a judge and say, you know, I've turned my life around, and the judge could make a decision then to remove those records so that they wouldn't be held against that victim anymore. This bill, of course, I introduced last year, and so we're working to try to get through the Senate this year, but it's been a part of a package of bills. We really are focusing on how to help our local partners really do a better job reducing the amount of sex trafficking. And a lot of it focuses on finding the Johns and the pimps and people that really are forcing these women into this industry or taking advantage of these women. And so I think this is a good next step for us to take on. Last year we passed the exoneration bill, which allowed people who had been wrongly convicted to get restitution and money to help them rebuild their lives. I'm happy to report that 3 people from our state have benefited from that bill and of course are trying to start over after losing many years in prison. So one of the bills I'm working on this year with the Innocence Project is around DNA, because one of the things we've discovered is when they go back and try to help people who may have been wrongly convicted and they look for the evidence, that sometimes it's been destroyed. And unfortunately, Washington State is one of few states that doesn't have like uniform rules of how to handle evidence. And it's so critical that that be available when they go back, because we know in the one case of Alan Northrop, that was the thing that overturned it, was the DNA evidence. So we'll be working on doing a moratorium to protect that evidence while we come up with what the uniform procedure should be around DNA. So it's been a great week. I've seen so many constituents, got so many emails, and I just would encourage people to keep making that contact. And I appreciate the feedback and would love to hear from more people from my district.